So the David and Goliath principle, or if you want to put it this way, the Jesus and turning water into wine principle. So here's the thing: David was a shepherd, which was one of the lowest, or if not lowest paying job ever, and you had to be the sharpest person at that time because your sheep, could be lost in the middle of the night. You had to be able to wake up really quickly and shoot right on target with the slingshot. He was the youngest of his brothers, so he would have been given the worst job. The greatest part about how, recognizing that the younger child will always, rule over the oldest is because the parents are wiser in raising the youngest child. Let's hope. All right. So, but Jesus turning water into wine, how does this relate? And it's because, when Jesus turned the water into wine, say at the wedding feast, it wasn't just regular water. It wasn't the best water. It was the water that people washed, it was like the dirtiest water. It's the dirtiest water. When Jesus turns any of the water into wine, it's always the dirtiest water. And that's the thing, is that God takes the worst and turns it into the best. And it's those people willing to become more disciplined through submission to God that he does this. And it's a beautiful thing because you see it within your own life, you can see it within anybody's life. And so if you want to look to, why is it that David beat Goliath? Because David didn't really have anything to lose. Goliath had everything to lose. Why is it so important to pay attention to what people have to lose? Because if you have nothing to lose, the question is why are you fighting? All right? If you have everything to lose, why are you fighting? All right, so God doesn't bury you, he plants you. He hopes that you break through. You remove the weeds and the stones, the bitternesses, the cares and concerns of this world, the distractions. And he hopes that you grow and that you multiply. He wants you to go out and do great things. Now, David, what did he do? He brought 5 stones with him because he knew that he wouldn't just have to fight Goliath. And as soon as he hit Goliath, his 4 brothers would come after him. And he had 5 smooth stones. That's what he took. He played on the arrogance of Goliath, because Goliath had a lot to lose. And so the thing is that whenever you have a controlling party, somebody that has a lot to lose, and you're David, you're nimble. It's like you have large companies, and the way, if you're going to be a small company, to overcome a large competitor, you got to do what they're not doing. You got to move around them with swiftness. You got to be light on your feet. Because Goliath will come after you. So when you see a Goliath coming after David, you got to ask yourself why. Why is David so important? Why is it important that we deny Jesus turned water into wine? Why is it important to focus on, say, in New York City, when the manure was piling so high in New York due to the horses before cars were invented, they were considering to leave the island of Manhattan. Why was that what was being pushed instead of a new innovation, creation to fix it, to solve the problem? Why? You see this a lot in your life. You're going to see that people around you want you to accept a submissive position so that you don't break through. And the thing is that any of us can break through. There's always a means to do better. And there's 2 ways to break through. There's a way you can cheat. You can break through, like you can just go steal somebody else's wine, bring it to the party, say, I turned water into wine. But then you don't get the actual benefit. You could always, be David and have somebody sneak into the camp overnight, destroy Goliath. But then, then David isn't really David. And so if you're going to do something good, don't taint it by doing something bad. You know, you want to do it right. But Goliath, he's always going to get arrogant. He's going to laugh. He's going to think David's not going to make it. He wants David to feel alone. He wants David to feel unloved. He wants complete misery upon David. Because, you know, David, if he feels like he has, support, then it would promote the uprising. So, you know, whenever we have a sycophant type position with somebody, anybody, or, you know, there's like a Sith Lord, as some might say, you need to have people around you that are the Jedi, those who want to lift each other up to be who you're made to be, you know, who you were designed to be, and with your purpose, not necessarily what they want you to be or else. Because many people who are in this creating mode, under the guise of fear, will seek to control. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. And so those who fear losing whatever power it is that they lose, they end up creating the next David. So it was definitely Pharaoh in his fear of subverting the people that created Moses. It's just a dynamic that's created. It doesn't need to be created. You know, you could very easily and very quickly have it come back and have a Saul who would come to David and say, you know what, David, I'm sorry. I love you. I didn't mean to do any of that. Come around. Is it likely to happen? I don't know. Depends on what Saul would lose. You know, it's a great book, Why Nations Fail. It's a great book because nations tend to fail because they get somebody in power who does not want to bless the people. They don't want to bless their students. Jesus was the teacher who wanted to bless his students, the opposite of the Caesar dynamic, who wanted to control his students. Caesar is the epitome of a Sith Lord because he's constantly betrayed by his best people, simply because that's the Sith dynamic. They have the same love and desire as the Jedi to replicate themselves. They want to teach the next group. They want somebody to take over. Problem is that same person is going to be of the same character and is simply going to try to take them out. The Aladdin Jafar dynamic where you have Aladdin who frees the genie versus Jafar who just wants to take over for the Sultan. He wants to destroy the Sultan. So, you know, you got to focus. What is your end goal? Is it a good end goal? Is it worth the way that you're getting there? Is it self-destructive? Because I guarantee you, when everybody balked as Jesus turned the table over of the money changers, and he was just showing them. He wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong. He wasn't necessarily, causing a scene. All he did was show everybody what they already knew that was going on right in front of their eyes. That's all he did. He did not put any shame on them. They had shame themselves, and that shame drove them to put the fear of death into Jesus. Say, we're going to destroy your life. Jesus says, nope. Just like Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you strike me down, you will only make me stronger. And that's the thing. That's the thing that the martyr does. That's the thing that David did. It's the thing that Moses did. It's a dynamic that you might yourself have to take on at some point. It might be for somebody you love. David did somebody for love, for that he loved. Moses had to confront somebody that he loved. Jesus had to confront somebody he loved. Jesus definitely died for more people than just the crowd didn't know what they were doing. He died for everybody, and that includes those who initially called for his death. We all fall short. All give some give all. Some are slave to Jesus, some slave to God, some are servant. Don't knock them down, lift them up. Do good.